The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, if you're a certain age bracket, old as hell like me, just admit it, you probably remember the painful days of corporal punishment. I got it with a 2x4. 2x4, yes. Called the Big Mac at my elementary and high school. Middle school, I was in the magnet school program, so it was a more civilized time for me. But for many years, the paddle has been locked away on school campuses, but it's making a comeback in a Missouri school district. Now, school administrators will be allowed to come down with the thunder if a child acts up, but only under certain conditions. The child's parents have to give written permission, and that spanking must be a last resort. Missouri is among 19 states, including Texas, where this kind of punishment is still allowed today. Now, school spankings are a big part of the old school, but should it be revived? Let's get our discussion going tonight.
First of all, State Representative Ron Reynolds, is corporal punishment working here in Texas?
I believe it is, Isaiah. Unfortunately, not enough parents are signing the permission slips and not enough school districts are implementing it. I wish that it was in Missouri City because, as my faith teaches me, spare the rod, spoil the child. It is necessary that we discipline our children. I think that many of these badass kids would stop cutting up in classes, and teachers will be able to teach if they could pull them paddles out and be like, when I was in school, Isaiah, when we were in school, they say, you're gonna go see the coach and your butt was finna get popped. And so that prevented us from cutting up because we didn't want to go to the coach or the principal's office to get that paddle on our behind. So yes, I think it's necessary and I think it works. It ain't child abuse. It's child abuse if they try to kill your ass, but if they try to discipline you to deter you from cutting up, then yes, I think we need to implement it. We need to be prayer back in school, and we need corporal punishment in school. We need both.
Gracie Latson, you are a teacher with HISD, the Houston Independent School District. Your thoughts on corporal punishment? Have you seen it in any school districts that you have worked in here in Texas because it is legal?
Right. No, I have not personally seen it. I've been teaching for 26 years and I have not seen it. But I'm not quite sure it's the responsibility of the school to issue corporal punishment. I just really think there's too much responsibility of parent duties being placed on the school system. It's just too much to require now on top of grades and socio-emotional learning and, emotional issues that the teacher has to boggle down with every day. And now on top of that, you want us to spank them. I mean, like, what are parents actually doing at home? It's the parents' job to spank.
What are they doing at home?
Exactly. So no, I do want the child to be disciplined if they're cutting up in class, but it's not the teacher's responsibility to do that.
And Arnetta, before we go to you, let's go back to Ron Reynolds, State Representative Ron Reynolds. When teachers say this is too much on our plate, what are parents doing at home? Your thoughts on that, Representative Reynolds?
Well, obviously, some of these parents aren't doing enough. We know that many of these parents are too, they're not mature, responsible themselves. There are a lot of absent fathers and grandparents are raising the kids. Parents are barely, they may be in and out of jail. So yes, it is the parents' responsibility, but if they're not doing their jobs and they're going to school, they're preventing other students from learning. So yes, it takes a village, and I think sometimes that village has to be instituted at school. So I agree, if parents did their jobs, students probably wouldn't, for fear that mama gonna whoop you when you get home, or daddy gonna whoop you when you get home. But if they're not getting it at home, they need to get it at school. If not, it's gonna be the school to prison pipeline, and they're gonna be getting it from the Harris County Detention Center.
Arnetta Murray, you're an educator. Well, go ahead, Gracie.
Yes, it's very real, the school to prison pipeline. But if we implement that, it would be the teacher to school to prison pipeline. It'll be the teachers going to prison because you're opened up to all kinds of lawsuits here.
Arnetta, let's bring you into this conversation. Your thoughts?
listen to both. I hear both angles. I was a single parent one in the beginning, and you have to sacrifice for your kids. These parents have to take accountability. My daddy, mom told me when I got pregnant, I never forget it. I am not babysitting your kids. You had them, you lay down, you take care of them. And if you don't raise them right, you're going to be the one to suffer. And so we have to also teach parents that it's time to be parents. If you're 15 and 16 and having a kid, you got to handle your business. Number two, about the teachers. We have enough on our plate. You won't even give us $100,000 a year, and you want me to spank, you want me to have a gun, you want me to teach, you want me to be, I can't do it all. I didn't do that much for my own 5 kids. So, so that being said, what we have to do is go back to what parents need, parenting these young parents. You got to go back to, yes, I do believe in whooping ass. I had 4 boys and a girl. I whooped their ass. I did it. And because I didn't want the police to do it. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, we got to get to the heart of the problem. It is the parents. I'm sorry I had a absent, my kid's dad, he was absent as well. But I still had to have the responsibility enough to know, how do I stop the cycle? Then that meant I had to do better. I had to change. So we got to get on these parents, and because these teachers are already pulled to the core.
And Representative Ron Reynolds, what about the legal question that Gracie had there, that teachers could face criminal charges if they touch certain kids, even though the parents signed the permission slip to allow corporal punishment or paddling, and then they go too far? A teacher who's not capable of properly punishing a child, and that person may mistakenly go too far.
Well, there are exceptions, and certainly a teacher cannot abuse the child. If there are certain metrics that they have to meet in terms of whether it's a ruler or a paddle, and traditionally they'll allow the coach or someone that's neutral to do the enforcement. But we live in a generation of timeout. Timeout ain't working with these generation of kids. And so I think corporal punishment, it worked for me. I have done it, and I'll tell them, you can call CPS and tell them I whooped you. But I don't believe in whipping, putting marks on people and scarring them and tethering and not that, but discipline where you let them know that you're receiving this strike or these 2 strikes because of your conduct. And I guarantee you, they're going to most of them are going to straighten up. I remember some of the knuckleheads I went to school with, that straightened them up. They didn't want to go back over there to Coach Henry and get that on their behind, because when we did it in school, we got it when we got home too. So you got 2 hits. And some of these parents aren't doing it at all. I agree these teachers are doing too much already, but without corporal punishment, we continue to see discipline going out of control, and then they send them to alternative school and this and that, and then they're not properly learning. They put them in ISS, and then they end up in other schools, and then they end up dropping out. So I think that if we can bring back corporal punishment, that eliminates some of these things that we're seeing now.
Ron Reynolds, can I say something real quick, Representative Reynolds? One thing my mom did, I never forget, she showed me, I thought I was going to get spanked at school. She made me believe she signed the form that I could get spanked, but I really couldn't. But she put so much fear in me, but she denied the school doing it. But she made the school make me believe that the school could do it. So again, I agree everything. I agree what you're saying, but I think that the teachers, with the shortage, with the stress that we're having, these parents and I'm sorry that they had kids at 15. Like my mama said, you laid in that bed, you pay in that bed. You got to do it. So they're going to have to step up as well.
And of course, we want to hear your opinion tonight. You can also weigh in on this discussion right now. Pull out those Boost mobile phones. I know what you got. We posted this poll on fox26houston.com. Would you allow school officials to paddle your kids if it avoided a suspension on their record? You can vote right now. Results are at the end of the show, so stay with us. Now, we heard from educators. Now it's time to see how parents feel. More of this discussion continues right after the break. Stay with us here on The Factor Uncensored. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. A Missouri school district is now allowing school spankings. Now, the subject is a very controversial one, but it looks like many of you at home are cool with teachers breaking out that paddle. Now, the bottom of your screen shows a live poll available on fox26houston.com right there. We asked, would you allow school officials to paddle your kids if it avoided a suspension? The majority of votes clocking in as a yes so far. So parents out there, some parents I spoke to today feel very differently on the matter. Take a look.
My answer is no. I have an almost 17-year-old daughter who's a teen and challenges me all of the time. I do not physically discipline her. And so, of course, I would not want someone outside of my home that I barely know to be in charge of that kind of discipline for her.
What would be your biggest concern as a mother with someone else disciplining your child?
Well, first of all, I mean, what are going to be the parameters around what we think is a reason to physically discipline a child in school, right? I mean, this is a decision that teachers and administrators will make. And as I said, these people overall are strangers to me. And so they could think that, you know, taking out a phone in class or chewing gum or anything could be cause for discipline, just being frustrated with a child. When I think about particularly Black and brown children and how they are overrepresented in suspensions and all of these other forms of discipline, I can only see that continuing to happen if physical discipline is an option.
Lauren, when you hear State Representative Ron Reynolds say we need to discipline kids in school, other measures and other methods simply aren't working.
I think that we need to think more deeply about what working and what isn't working looks like, right? Like, of course, if we know that a child is having disciplinary issues or if they are a discipline problem, there's usually a deeper issue that we need to look at. So what are the support services? What are the wraparound services in the school that can help that child get to the root of what is happening? When we do and look at research on children who have been physically disciplined inside or outside of the home, we are constantly told that physical discipline does not help the matter. It usually only makes children more aggressive. It makes children more withdrawn. And so I think the answer is to lean more into help, maybe helping at home, helping parents, helping those students get to the root of whatever the issue is. And physical discipline is just a quick fix that we know through research just doesn't work.
All right, Lauren, let's hear from you on that issue when State Representative Ron Reynolds said that we need more discipline, physical discipline in school. Your thoughts on that?
It's disappointing to hear somebody who is tasked with making sure as a part of the state legislature that schools are fully funded and have the resources where they don't have to rely on what Josie, stated so eloquently, is that this just simply doesn't work. It's also, something I would just challenge anybody who thinks that this is okay to spend time at their child's schools and just to really see how underserved and under-resourced these campuses are. I'm a product of HISD. My children are in HISD schools. I was not given the calling or the blessing to want to be a teacher, but I did support public education through my work at the teachers union. And I got to see from the back end what teachers are faced with. And I don't think giving them an option of like hitting a child, not to say that I think teachers wake up and want to go hit children, is a solution to their many problems of not having what they need. When children are acting out, they're trying to communicate an unmet need. And being hit, being, physically disciplined is not going to fix that need. If you're hungry and you're acting out because you're hungry, hitting you is not going to make your belly full. If you have ADHD and you're acting out because of that, hitting you is not going to fix, that issue. So I think what I would like to hear from people who have the ability to actually help make changes is how they're going to ensure that these campuses have counselors, that they have nurses. My children both go to schools in under-resourced areas in Third Ward, and principals are having to make decisions between an extra math teacher or an extracurricular activity. And so I think it's one thing for people, on the street who don't really understand the way public funding and public school funding works to say that, but somebody who is a little bit closer to the issue, I would just expect that they would have a stronger answer. And I don't want there to be an idea that teachers aren't disciplining students. Discipline is not just hitting. They're doing the work to make sure that children are getting what they need. It doesn't have to be a physical punishment.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Always good to talk to the parents. Thank you both.